Shacknews best VR game of 2020, Greg. Half-Life Alyx. Sweet. We're done?
All right.
Hold on.
We're done.
Yep.
Can I just give a shout out to Dreams for a minute? Did Dreams come out this year?
Did you play it in VR this year?
No, I'm just giving it a shout out for being cool.
Remember yesterday when I mentioned that Dreams was the most overlooked game of 2020?
I will say this: Half-Life Alyx, the most complete VR package.
Oh yeah.
But like, I will say, like as an honorable mention, most visceral, most like comfort food VR game for me this year was probably Saints and Sinners.
I really want to play that.
There is something so horribly good about hitting a zombie in his dumb head with an axe, and the game captures it quite well. Like, it's not better than Half-Life Alyx. It's not. But it is something that, like...
It's a VR game that came out this year.
It's like, it's a good VR game. Like, it's a full-length VR game, too. It has one of the few honorable mentions of being, like, a full-length experience.
Yeah. So many VR games come out, you buy them, they're $10, $15, $20, but they're not really that meaty of an experience. Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is actually a complete game.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, some of the gameplay feels kind of tech demo-y. Like it's...
I would say that the interactions with any NPC... The NPCs in that game are dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it's the interactions with the zombies that, like, get me. Like, that's how it should feel to be in a Walking Dead universe. It's like you have to look over your shoulder at all times. You have to be careful how much you engage because the sounds draw others.
I'm excited to play that because I remember when The Last of Us 1 came out, and I was like, this is the Walking Dead game I always wanted. And then I felt that way until Saints and Sinners came out, and I'm like, you know what? If like they can immerse me in a full-length game where I'm just like terrified the whole fucking time, constantly having to keep an eye on my six, and I can beat Daryl and just pop off headshots with a crossbow. Like, I'm in. That could be awesome.
That's actually a game like where sound matters, and so like it's better to use a bow and arrow on some zombies than a gun because it will actually draw the attention of other zombies.
Yeah.
Saints and Sinners gave me COVID.
Oh no.
Like,
you are the Walking Dead.
That's not possible.
No.
Can somebody please get the Shacknews lawyers on the line? Because Blake just said some shit.
Call Nintendo's. They're really fucking good.
Really good.
No,
we can't afford Nintendo's lawyers.
No, here's what happened though. I played that game, and like by the time I was done playing that game for a live stream we were doing, I was extremely ill.
Yeah, that's the pre-order bonus. They give you a virus.
And I'm like, God, did I get bit by a zombie? Like, and it like carried over into the real world?
Yeah.
No,
but if that actually happened, Half-Life Alyx would be in trouble right now.
Right.
Like if they somehow managed to like infect people.
I got them head crabs.
Are you getting like radiation poisoning from playing Half-Life?
So
I remember.
sorry, but I mean, I have like a mental association. It's like definitely my own personal.
Yeah, like you said that like you believe it, but I'm pretty sure what you're saying is it's like scientifically impossible.
Oh no.
Blake is just a method gamer. He was like, I need to be so fucking sick, like at the point of death, to experience this world. And I respect your commitment to your craft, Blake.
True.
I'd like to add when it comes to VR that most VR games, with a few specific exceptions, all have shitbox graphics for some reasons that are understandable and valid, and some not. And gameplay aside or whatever from Saints and Sinners, it still looks like a 2005 game, whereas Half-Life Alyx looks like a totally modern. It would pass for a AAA, non-VR thing now. Even if not everybody's machine is capable of doing it, it's a wowzer, and that's another monster thing for VR that hasn't really happened before.
Thank you.
I agree with that. Like,
as much as Half-Life has defined like VR, if this was any other year where Half-Life did not come out, there would have to be a good argument for Star Wars Squadrons. Just the fact that you can strap on a VR for somebody who's always had the fantasy of flying an X-wing or flying a TIE fighter, being able to put on a VR headset with flight stick controls, like you can totally play out that fantasy and it would look gorgeous. I mean, I loved everything that that Motive did with this game, and the fact that you can crossplay with everybody is just incredible. So, Star Wars Squadrons just had the unfortunate fortune of like just coming out in the wrong year. It came out against Half-Life, and it's
but
not going to win.
And also, they won't let you shoot your friends.
I just imagine like somebody going to their partner and being like, and their partner's like, "What's your like biggest fantasy?" And they're like, "Baby, I want to fly a TIE fighter."
Oh, baby, you're making me hard right now.
And then
and then they show up in a cardboard like TIE fighter, like homemade cosplay outfit.
I heard that happen at Ozzy's house. His wife was like, "I love this. I love that fetish." That Ozzy's wife was like, "Oh, I love that fetish. I love you." And Ozzy was like,
I see we went full Shacknews.
That's not true. She threw a flip flop at him.
We have gone full Shacknews with this fantasy, Ozzy.
I will say this.
You know, I want to say this about Half-Life VR.
Ozzy dresses up like a dragon.
I haven't. I don't have a VR headset. Never have, and really haven't been interested in it. I know I mentioned this previously with a different award, but this is the first time I've actually thought about getting a VR headset for Half-Life Alyx, and it just occurred to me, while Half-Life Alyx is pure and wholesome and all that stuff, Half-Life Alyx is kind of like what Conor McGregor did for MMA. Like, it's bringing people that never gave a shit about it into that space. Like, something that is that much star power is now making people that never cared at all watch it and then discover other things about VR and that scene. So that's like, it's a game changer. And I think anything that came out on VR this year just had the, like someone else said, the unfortunate timing of coming out this year.
Even Ozzy's argument for Squadrons is like, it's comfort food. It's a thing that you've always wanted to do. Like, Half-Life Alyx is a game I go to when I want to be engaged 110%, think about what I'm seeing, interact with everything I see, take in the graphics, take in the mechanics, it is the full package. So, and like Squadrons, like I love the idea. Like, I'm a hugely mechanical person. The idea of sitting in a cockpit of an X-Wing and looking around the cockpit and actually being able to fiddle with some of the things in the cockpit sounds great. And then in Saints and Sinners, I just want to bonk on.
Has anyone ever played Elite Dangerous in VR? Because it's excellent.
Yes.
Yep.
Like, it's actually good. And
that's on my bucket list.
And I
think like Squadrons, except for you can also be a trucker.
Yeah. And I think it's a shame that Flight Simulator VR hasn't really shipped yet at the time that we're recording this. But I think that same fantasy you're talking about, Ozzy, could probably play out in Flight Simulator as well in VR. I remember one of the first DK2 demos I think I ever did there's some free-to-play flying game. I can't remember what it's called.
I mean, that's the thing with like those games. I mean, the VR does absolutely make the experience more immersive, but those can also be played outside VR. Where Half-Life Alyx, it needs to be in VR to get the real experience.
It was War Thunder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you can play Star Wars Squadrons like standard on a controller, and you'll still get like a good game out of it. If you played Half-Life Alyx without VR, it's not the same.
No, it's not good. It's actually bad in flat screen mode.
It literally can't be done. It just can't.
No, you can. It's just not fun. Like, you're like, oh, I don't have a head-mounted display, which is like one of the key inputs of the game. So like, it doesn't translate to mouse look very well.
You also fundamentally break the puzzles by not being able to engage with individual hands.
Yeah, without hand presence in the game and without the HMD, it just breaks it. I think, to TJ's point, to Chris's point, I like going into Half-Life Alyx. Like, I like being in that world. It feels... The minute you enter that world and you look around, you're in awe. That first level, TJ, it does a really good job of just introducing you to the scale of the world and like the level of detail that's there. I always go back to that when talking about this game because there's like little things, like there's a box in like an elevator and you can find a piece of chalk in the box and you can write on the window with the chalk. Like I saw a math teacher was teaching his class in Half-Life Alyx via stream earlier this year.
There's that Donkey video where he's like juggling soda cans.
Yeah,
just because you can do that.
That's one of my first litmus tests of a game's physics in VR. Like, how much can I toss things from hand to hand, and how many crazy things can I do with them?
And
now,
yeah, like I can't remember what they call the weapons, but like the ability to like Alex's gloves, whatever you want to call them,
gravity gloves.
The gravity gloves created so many unique ways to play in that game, and it solves the biggest problem for me in VR. When there's something on the ground and you want to pick it up, boy, does it suck to bend over to do that. So it's like, oh, I can just point at it and hit this trigger and it zooms up to my hand. So there's like these like, outside of the crazy attention to detail on Half-Life Alyx, there's probably like 900 or 1,000 little quality of life improvements to VR design that no one else had done. Or maybe someone had done in a different game, but no one had done it in an adventure type game. You know, so it's like, it's this they brought together so many of the best practices I think you've seen in VR gameplay design that it's really astonishing. And having been, I've been in the VR scene using VR since DK1 and DK2. I am astonished at how far we've come in such a short period of time. And I think it speaks to the work that's been done at Valve for a decade on this.
Yeah, there's only one thing that I really don't like about Half-Life Alyx, and this is actually something that I put Saints and Sinners over it for. Speaking to that physics thing, you can't change the gun. You can't change the hand that you shoot with in Half-Life Alyx once it's set. You have a dominant hand. I noticed this when I was playing because actually I do everything right hand dominant, but I shoot with my left hand because of my left eye is better than my right eye. And so like in Saints and Sinners, I'll generally, if I'm not aiming, I'll shoot with my right hand. If I'm trying to aim for a shot, I'll drop the gun to my left hand and like line up that shot. I can't do that in Half-Life Alyx for some reason. Yeah. I can't drop the pistol to my left hand and change it up. It always like reverts back to your right hand. I don't know why they did that, because it's like one of the many gripes I have in that game is like a technical masterpiece otherwise.
Yeah.
But like it is something that someone like, I guess that's a very unique gripe, I think. But it is something I think about.
Yeah.
If you have to spend that much time to find a problem with the game, it kind of speaks to how fucking awesome the game.
Right.
My problem is I can't afford an index, and even if I did, I have to wait 28 weeks to get it.
Now we play the waiting game. No, the waiting game sucks. Let's play Hungry Hungry Hippos.
That might
buy less 10-bit True Color TV so you can buy an index, Chris.
Can't wait for the 10-bit True Color Index to come out.
I mean, do you need the index? Because, I mean, TJ, you've been playing it on the Oculus Quest 2, right?
Do you need toilet paper to successfully go to the bathroom? Not technically, but it's nice to have.
Well, I mean,
I know, Chris, you've had issues with other VR HMDs that are not as comfortable on your head, right? So I think the Valve Index is known for its ergonomics. Like it,
That and the Index is the only one that I'm aware of out of the headsets available that natively reaches 90 and goes up to 120 hertz.
Yeah, it runs buttery smooth, and also the knuckle controllers give you finger presence beyond just hand presence that you would get from like a Quest or something.
The new HP Reverb G2 is amazing, but it's another one of these things where you have to be willing to kill somebody's family to get one.
Yeah. No, I mean, VR headsets are tough to come by. The VR controllers are tough to come by. It's an expensive thing. I mentioned it in my review as one of the negatives, is that there is a barrier to entry, that this is a VR only game. And that, TJ, you didn't mention this, but I think it's because you're kind of seasoned and used to playing VR. Something I pointed out was that the locomotion in the game, I think, would lead some people to be ill. I think thumbstick locomotion in like a first-person VR game, some people just can't handle that. And Saints and Sinners is the exact same thing.
Yeah. See, and
I thought
that
Alex
is a-
let both ways go. Where you
Alex
Yeah.
has this teleportation mechanic, Krabs, but it's like a quick jump. So you end up using both. You could play the entire game only using quick jump, but for me, it was a better experience using thumbstick locomotion.
Right. And I think there's three different ways of going about it in Half-Life Alyx. There's either smooth locomotion, there's
Snap.
there's teleportation locomotion,
Mhm.
and there's a third one, and I can't remember what the third one is, but it was like they built these. That's one thing I'll give Half-Life Alyx, is that they went whole hog on all of the accessibility options that they could stuff into that game.
Yeah. No, and I think the thing where I noticed it, and I've talked to several VR devs about this, I think the thing that causes VR sickness more than anything is when you fall in a VR game, because your body, your mind tricks your body into feeling like you're falling, right?
You get that sense of vertigo or inertia.
Yeah. Creating like a floating sort of fall instead of like an actual one-to-one, this is how gravity would work kind of fall, is one way that I think Half-Life Alyx deals with that. But there is elevation change. There was a game that came out years ago called Hover Junkers that had elevation change, and it was an online multiplayer game. I felt violently ill after playing it, and I'm like pretty seasoned VR vet. I didn't have any VR sickness, but I know people who are sensitive to VR, or and get simulator sickness. I think that as innovative as Half-Life is with its accessibility options, there's just going to be a segment of people who get simulator sickness no matter what. And I think that's not unique to Half-Life Alyx, but it's just kind of a bummer that they weren't able to get rid of that either. Because like there's people on our staff that I just wouldn't even recommend the game to, because I don't want them to get sick. But yeah, no, I outside of that, the story is awesome. I love the universe, and you talking about sound design, TJ? I think Half-Life Alyx sound design is amazing. The scene that I'm probably going to stream for our Game of the Year live stream, our Extra Life Marathon, is going to be, I think, I'm going to try to highlight. I tend not to be scared by video games, like even jump scares or whatever. This was the most terrifying experience I've ever had in a video game.
Yeah, that's actually something I'm interested in seeing. You told me about that. I think back to like Ravenholm and Half-Life 2, which was arguably a better Doom 3 than Doom 3 in many areas. And even the first game had some really like creepy set pieces and stuff too. So I'm glad that they're carrying that forward. It goes back to what we were saying earlier, like independent of being VR, this is a proper Half-Life game. Like they checked all the boxes and added like 24 new ones to check off.
Yep.
The first time that you come up against a head crab, like head crabs in Half-Life, like they're not hard to kill, but like they're still like there's something about them that is just inherently creepy.
The sound. It's the sound, because like when you're in VR with a freaking head crab, you can hear it. You hear it crawling around you, and you're just like, ugh. It gives you that game. Gave me the heebie-jeebies unlike any video game has ever done, because it's gross. Like the creatures are gross in that game. You know the lickers or whatever, those things that are on the ceiling with
the ceiling maws that like lift you up and chomp you. When they bite, when they chew on something, it just sounds disgusting.
Yeah, like they did an amazing.
Describing Sam's day to day.
Yeah, seriously, it's like just walking in Sam. This is Sam walking down the hallway to go to the bathroom. But yeah, like there is. It's that scary. But yeah, I'm not even a person who's into horror games or jump scare games or anything like that. I don't really think Half-Life has jump scares in it. It has environments that just make you feel things.
Unsettling.
Yeah, and I think that's like, honestly, when I was planning for review, I would take off the headset after every chapter and be like, you know, like it is nothing else made me feel like that this year at all, and definitely no VR game. So this is my best VR game of the year. We should do two of both.
I'm gonna give it to Half-Life Alyx.
Yep.
You know, makes sense.
What if we just ask if anyone is not voting for Half-Life Alyx?
I give a strong honorable mention to Star Wars Squadrons, but my vote is Half-Life Alyx.
Anyone going against Half-Life Alyx? Nope.
Who wants a job?
No, it's fine.
No, I agree. No, Alex, like since everyone said, like it's a game you can only be played in VR. I mean, it's great in VR. It doesn't just add the experience; it is the experience. So yeah, that's what's what. Hit the gavel.
It definitely runs great on the Valve Index.
Gavel.
Gavel.
Surprisingly runs smooth on the Quest 2.
I know, right? So
that's Valve, man.
Yeah, I mean, Valve is super awesome.
Scalable engines.
Video games. Yeah, exactly. And to make a scalable VR game of that quality is just even more impressive. But yes, Half-Life Alyx is going to win another Shacknews award. It's our best VR game of 2020. Here.